Hi everyone, it's Björn again. It's 2 years ago since I last did this kind of video. Then I was going to Stockholm and Gothenburg. This time I'm going to Dalarna. Just as far, but on other paths. It's July the 1st, 2025. It's about 9:15 or 9:15 in the morning. It's a very sunny day that promises to be warm, and I'm about to go 120 kilometers north along the west coast. As you can see, my bike is the same. The only thing that actually has changed is my jersey. And I've got a little flag, that's the regional Skåne flag, to show where I come from. It's not an official flag, but everyone uses it. So come along on this ride and we'll see what happens. I don't know, you will soon. So here's an overview of my plan from Malmö, up along the west coast, going west of a big lake, so west of Vättern, up through Dalsland to Dalarna, around Lake Siljan, and then turning back again on the east side of Vättern and in the middle of Sweden, through Småland and Skåne, and back home again. So I left Malmö behind me, and all the crazy bicyclists going around there. They really don't like obeying rules, and they got electric bikes. The rest of the country is a lot saner, so the most difficult part is done in less than 15 minutes. I hope. I'm just in the outskirts of Malmö, rolling along. So I'm riding at Sydkustleden and later on at Kattegattleden, two of the most popular bike trails there are in this part of Sweden. Going up the west coast, passing by Landskrona and Helsingborg and Ängelholm to my final destination. It's a very popular place to be riding your bikes, so there was a lot of bikers on this part of the trail. And it is a very nice trail, as you can see. Smooth and easy. My setup, my bike and my tent, same bike, same tent, and some clothes drying off. I haven't cleaned anything, it's just the first day. And the camp is this small pine wood. There are a few other people here, one family with children and 2 hikers, I believe. Very quiet. There will be more people, there always is. So here I am at the end of day 1. It has been a very easy day. Tailwind all day, nice, easy, mostly bicycle roads to go by. Sunny but not excruciatingly hot. And I'm at Gryteskär, one of my favorite stops. I've been here quite a few times before, and if you've seen my video from 2023, then you know this was the last stop I had on my trip that time. This time it's the first one. Tomorrow I'm going to Halmstad. Good morning everyone. It's the second day of this trip to Dalarna. Today I'm going into Halmstad. That's a short ride, about 50 kilometers, so half of what I did yesterday. and I've booked a room in a hostel in Halmstad. And I stayed there before, so I know it's a decent hostel. The place here is still great. I was awoken by horses running back and forth outside of the campground, so the field there is theirs, and they seem to be enjoying themselves a lot. It's gonna be a great day. There's a lot of birds singing and the sky is blue. So I'm on my way to Halmstad. It's gonna be a hot day. I am in no hurry. I will take lots of breaks, and I'm on a lookout for somewhere to get a decent cup of coffee already. And I've just been away for like 20 minutes. Great day for it. So this is the bike trail over the westmost part of Hallandsåsen, an old railroad track converted to this great bike trail. And on the other side of Båstad, I'm going through Mellbystrand and Laholmsbukten. Again, bike trails all the way. Some of it very built up, some of it a lot of nature. It varies. That's a great thing about this trail. It changes every 15 minutes, it feels like. So here I am riding through the pine forest. It's a great little gravel road. Just at the rest stop before this with toilets and water. A guy invited me to have a cup of coffee, and we sat there for half an hour talking about hiking, walking, traveling, such things. Nice to meet people when you're out. It's so easy. If you're out on your own and you meet other people who are traveling alone, you usually strike up a conversation. And, well, you know, you're going to be talking, chit-chatting for a while, and then each go on their own way again. So that's nice. There's a lot of open and exposed sand in this part. There's a strange forest. But the gravel path is very newly made and very easy riding. It might rain, it might not rain. It's suddenly turned slightly darker skies. Yeah, I have no idea. I wouldn't mind a light drizzle. But no big rains, thank you. Please. So I'm getting closer to Båstad. Started out sunny today. Now there's been the slightest drizzle of rain, just a few drops. I've got a tailwind still, that's nice. Very, very easy biking. Just came out of the pine forest to this landscape. Looking back behind me is the road I came from, Laholmsbukten. And in front of me, which you can't see and I really can't film it, is a small bathing ground with a lot of people bathing, even though it's cloudy today. So I had to park my bike and take a walk down to have a look at this. It doesn't look much for the world, does it? That's partly because the stones have shifted over time, but also because people have taken stones from these graves and built the houses with them. So that would have been sort of a wall of stone around some of these mounds. So 2,000-year-old, so approximately around the beginning of the Common Era. There would have been lots of burials here. Estimated 250 graves, as I could see on the information sign. Only 2 of them had been excavated, and burnt bones had been found in both of them. In one in a stone coffin below earth, and in another one they were in a ceramic pot. And like many other grave fields I've seen, it's placed in the most magnificent place, so you could see it from land and from the water. Or perhaps because the dead should look out over the water. What do I know? I'm the only tourist here. The cafe up here is a lot more popular than these graves from the early Iron Age in Sweden. That's it. It's been a short ride, 50 kilometers. It was very sunny and very much uphill as I went out from Grytesjö, and then of course it was downhill to Båstad on an old railroad trail. I say of course because I was passing over a hill that lies between the 2 places. After Båstad the weather got a bit more cloudy, there even was some small hints of rain. And now I am in a hostel in Halmstad that is called Kaptenshamns Hostel and Hotel. It's an old sailor home that is converted into a hostel. I also feel I have to show you my room here. So here's a corridor leading up to my room, 114. And this is it. It's a very, very small room. I have a lovely view over some roofs and a parking lot. I have a regular bed. I've done a bit of laundry. I've unpacked half of my stuff to get to the things I need. I hung up my biking jersey to dry, and I am keeping all my batteries fully charged, and I'm uploading photos and videos. But that's it. That's not much to do in this room except sleeping, and that's perfectly fine with me. An hour later than usual out of camp. It's 10 o'clock, June the 3rd. I'm leaving Kaptenshamns Hostel in Halmstad. And now it's 3 days out in the woods. Not a lot of nice things. So a small amount of time I'm late is spent shaving. That will be easy. There's quite a wind today, but it's a tailwind. And tomorrow there will be rain. But today it's supposed to be sunny. Not yet, but it's supposed to be. So, into Småland. This is Picasso's famous sculpture Female Head in Halmstad, erected in the early 1970s. Picasso did it on paper, as you may see, and then it was turned into this concrete sculpture. I'm making good time riding out of Halmstad. I'm already 20 kilometers out, approximately. I've got a pretty strong tailwind. The weather is overcast with a promise of sun this afternoon. And the streets are narrow and non-traffic, so it's very easy to ride here. It's a good day. So I was thinking of taking a break just to stretch my shoulders a bit. They are getting stiff and I get a little bit of pain in them. And then of course there was some sort of ancient remnants. So these are stone circles. There are 3 of them. They are not, there's one, there's another, and there's the third. 7 stones in each and one of them. In Swedish, these are called judgment circles because in quite recent time they were believed to be places where judgment was passed, and that is not true. These are graves. They are from late Iron Age, so 400 to 500 in the Common Era. It's not much to see. One of them is excavated, and they had found some bones in ceramic pots. And the road here is as old as those rings, so of course not the asphalt road or the gravel road, but the fact of that being a road. And over there you see the hill, which was a place of protection that you could run to and you could stay protected because you were on the top of a hill. So a fornborg, and I have no idea what fornborg would be in English. It sounds like a castle, but it isn't. It's a place where you could keep safe. So this is the third day of my trip, and it's the test one where I'm out on completely new roads. And I will be on roads I haven't cycled before up until day 20 or something like that, when I will be passing by Ramkville and Åsnen and a few such places on my way home again. So it's all brand new. It's great. I knew I would have one chance to get lunch today, and that was at restaurant Valvet in Kinnared. Now, I didn't film inside the restaurant, that seems a bit rude, but it was meatballs, mashed potatoes, lingonberry jam, coffee, very nice all together. So this is what this vacation really is about, riding your bike slowly through a landscape. If you don't like biking, don't go on a biking vacation, but if you do, this is paradise. So here I am at the end of day 3, camped at Kjettarp's campground, which is part of perhaps a trail. I didn't see any trail markers. It's most certainly is expecting that people come by canoe, and I will show you the campground later. Today's ride was easy. There was a lot of wind, but it was a tailwind all the way. Most of the roads were small, nice roads with very little traffic. A little bit of it was very visibly in Småland, where it's very hilly, so it goes up and down all the way, and slightly bigger roads, but still not a lot of traffic. All in all, a very good day. So I have no idea what this small river is called. It goes through the city of Kalv anyway. The access road to the campground is this small gravel road. Well, here it's mostly a grass road, and you can see the river on my right hand, and it has become a very sunny day now. Up to the left we have a privy. It has some toilet paper, so that's great, and it hasn't been used a lot, so it doesn't smell a lot. So we have a notice board telling us to pay, and some maps, and again, well kept, well readable maps. I have put up my tent here, so parts of this campsite is a little wetter than others, so I looked around until I found the best dry place I could find. So here's me, my charging station, soft drink I will have soon, my bike and my tent, and that's the end of the campground. And here you can see there is a nice ramp for those who comes with canoes that they easily can pull up their canoes. And there's a small sign saying please pay 80 kronor. But I haven't got a canoe, but I went down here and cleaned my feet, and then I can just sit here on the stairs and look at this very calming river-like landscape. So river is perhaps a bit too grand to give a name to this waterway, but it's nice and clear and very, very calm. Slept very long today, but that was good. Woke up at 8 and going to bed at 9 o'clock, so that's a lot of hours. Just had breakfast, packed up my stuff. I've got my bike here, flying the colors of my home county, that is Skåne, on the back because I am in enemy country now. Today is said to be a little less warm, so somewhere around 15-16 degrees Celsius. So I'm wearing an overlayer. All my clothes are planned so I can layer them on top of each other, so I'll never risk to be cold. I'm off to Ulricehamn, and just beyond that. Just had lunch at the Kulturhuset, Cultural Center in Tranemo. Raggmunka, that's a kind of potato pancake with thick bacon, stekt fläsk, and lingonberry jam. Nice restaurant. It looks like any other cultural restaurant, slightly warm furniture, slightly industrial looking light fixtures. I kind of liked Valvet i Kinnared yesterday better because it's slightly trashier but more genuine in its way. Ulricehamn was the last town I passed by this day, and I knew I had to get dinner here, so I had pizza. As you can see, it's a nice little city with one long walking road in the middle of it, and a pizzeria facing the parking lot of the local ICA store. It was a okay pizza. Not sure how readable that is. So it says Timmele Mini Village. It is a miniature version of the village. I mean, Timmele. I'm 3 kilometers from the shelter where we were sleeping this night. So here's a lot of text about them all. And I'm really not gonna read it. I might swish them some money later. I'm just a sucker for miniature villages. I'm just gonna give you a short walkthrough and then I'll take a bigger, better look myself and read some of the signs. So this is built, I guess, by a group of people with a keen historical interest. And that would have been the church, and that's the same church that you can see over there with the same shape of a clock tower. Ah, how sweet. So this was a shifting day. It rained and it was sunny, and it rained and it was sunny. I had to switch clothes a lot. First, my 10 kilometers were on regular roads and slightly boring. It felt like Småland, but I think it was Halland, but I'm not sure. There are no clear markers that I've seen. They were perfectly fine, but it's a hill up and a hill down, and it's very long, and it's not all that interesting. And it's just the forest around is just grown to make wood for the industry, so it's a boring forest. But then, halfway through, or after a third of the way, I came to a small place where I had coffee. And then it was an abandoned or changed railway roads, the rest of the road up until Ulricehamn, and I think quite a good while after Ulricehamn too. So here's my setup with the tent, and I've brought everything into the tent because it's going to rain a little bit this night. It's on a nice spot There is a dead tree here, which I normally wouldn't set up so close to. But there are dead trees at all spots that I could set up on, and it's not gonna be windy tonight. It's gonna be very still, so hopefully I won't die. So Jordkulan is just opposite of this. So this is the road I'm going out from here on tomorrow, and the little red house there is the privy or outhouse. There is a shelter, and I thought for a few seconds to sleep in them. I still haven't slept in shelters. I don't know why I don't like them. And then there is this old house, which people lived in the 19th century. There's a poorly damaged sign. You could read the English version of it, of how people have lived here from 1840 till 1900 approximately. So these picnic tables are, of course, set here for, of course, people like to go here for picnics, I suppose. There are a lot of hiking trails that end up here. So this house is built surrounded by earthen walls and a little bit of wood. And there is stuff growing on the ceiling, and there is a little outhouse where they might have had a pig or perhaps a cow, but I don't think they could afford a cow if they lived here. It seemed to have been very poor people. You can go in here, and there's a guest book and all of that. I'm not sure the camera will show you. Well, yeah, a little bit. It's a very, very small, cramped room, and this is all there is. One single small room, and here lived, at least it's known that there lived a man with several wives. They died one after another, and their children lived here, and they had their well down here. We're said to be in a good well. Now it is dried up. So that is Jordkulan. This is where I'll be staying the night, in my tent. I didn't even consider sleeping inside this little house, although you are allowed if you want to. I thought it smelled a bit bad. If it was very cold, you could lit a fire in it. Hopefully that would be okay. Good morning. It's July 5th. It's, 10:30 already. Doesn't matter. I am planning to just ride to a spot where I will set up in the wild. But I have a contingency plan that means 20 kilometers more, and I'm at a campground that costs money, but I can get a shower and such. Probably I want to set up in the wild. I want to try that. There are some small cities with pizzerias on the way, but nothing major to see, so it's basically just riding. And it's raining. It's not raining a lot, there's just a faint drizzle. And there's almost no wind, and it seems like it would be quite easy roads to ride on, so I'm looking forward to that at least. So here I am again, riding along. This day is wet. Right now it's not raining, but it's been raining on and off for 30 kilometers. It's now soon 40. I had company with a guy from the Netherlands, from Groningen, for quite some part, and we rode on an old railway track, so straight ahead. So we could chit-chat quite a lot. Always fun with a bit of company. Have no idea what your name is. If you see this, hi again. So this is the small village of Floda, and the rain is pouring down. I just had a hamburger at the outskirts of the city, a very small hamburger joint. It was a nice burger, and I'm fully fed. It's just that I'm wet, that's kind of pisses me off, but not much to do about that. So they've got an art. How nice. So here's another coffee place I stumbled upon an hour or two later. It was very nice, but not a lot of people there, though you could see in the garden that sunny days they were visited by many. So just a little bit back I had a fall. I hit the stone facing on the pavement and fell over. And my clock started to calling an ambulance. So I stopped it in time. I'm not hurt in any way. A lot of things fell in the street. Nothing was broken except a clasp on my pannier, so I had to rig it in another way here. I will try to look for a new clasp, but I don't think I will be so lucky. I think I have to figure something out, perhaps buy another pannier and send this one home by mail. I also broke a bit of my jacket. Nothing big. Only accident this far. It was a minor one. My knee is bruised. I feel like a little boy with a bloodied knee. Oh, that should be a picture. I will put a plaster on it when I get to camp. It was raining like hell and I couldn't see clearly. That's why it happened. Now it's sunny again. It's that kind of a day. This won't stop me. I will go on. So today I had no set point to go to. I just had a marker that said 80 kilometers had passed, and that was a bit of forest. So I thought I would be camping somewhere there. I wasn't satisfied with it, and it was a bit early, so I just rode on tomorrow's part of it for another 15 kilometers and spent another hour doing that. And now I've just turned off the road I was on, walked 150 meters into the wood and set up my tent. So that's the beauty of the right of common passage. You can tent anywhere you like as long as you do not disturb cattle or growing fields or in someone's backyard. So this is where I will sleep tonight. Middle of nowhere, no name for the place. So it's day 6 of my trip. I'm on my way to Bråvalla, a hostel where I will be sleeping indoors after staying outdoors for 3 nights. This behind me was my campsite this night. It's just an old and very much abandoned road for logging. I managed to fix my broken pannier, I think quite good, with a lashing strap I had that I could tie up and use in a way that seems robust enough to last me the whole trip. So I don't have to go hunting for any new clips to put on that one. I can fix it when I get home. The only thing hunting me now are my feet, which are very, very wet. My shoes are super wet. But that too will get done tonight when I'm indoors, and hopefully the shoes will dry up. So, time to go biking again. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm lazy and I don't have to worry. I rode quite a big... Yes, Siri, you know you want to be in the video. I did 15 kilometers already yesterday, so I have a short ride today. Let's see what this is. I just stopped. It looks strange. It looks like it might be a place of an old church. Yes, it is. It is remains of an old church from the 13th century. Well, lovely placement of a church. Time for a coffee break in Vänersborg, just on the way out from Vänersborg. A waffle with raspberry jam and a view over Vänern in an old-looking cafe. Not the best part of the trip. And here's me eating that waffle. You can see my bike in the background. I have been much better taking breaks on this trip than the last time I was out touring Sweden.
Hey, hello.
There are so many trails. I think I'm following Sverigeleden, the Swedish trail, but I might just as well be following Vänerleden, the path around this great inland sea, or Dalslandsleden, which is another of them. And then there are one hiking path, a religious one that I don't care about. I just got out of that camping site, which I didn't stay in. It was very, very family oriented. And straight out of it, I ended up out in the woods again. Some very steep inclines, but they are short. I had to jump off my bike for one of them and walk up with the bike. Great day. So I'm 5 kilometers from the hostel I'm going to, and the skies are getting cloudier. And if you look over there, that's rain, and it's pouring down. That's where I spent yesterday. My shoes has almost dried up, so I hope I don't get any hard rain here in it. Well, the camera makes it look very dark, but it isn't that bad. 5 kilometers, well, that's nothing. I hope I'll make it. That way. So I made it to Bolanda hostel and hotel in time. There was a slight result the last kilometer, which made me go a lot faster. But I didn't get wet. I have taken a shower. I have put my clothes in the washing machine. Yes, there is a washing machine. I will take a walk around this little village and have a look what it's like. It's a strange place, but a nice place. I don't believe this could have been built as a hotel, but maybe. It gives off very odd vibes, slightly institutional, slightly motel, so who knows. So I'm gonna give you a short tour of Bolanda hostel and hotel. So that's my bike on the backyard. It is almost completely enclosed by the hotel. There is an opening to the left. There's a lot of socks drying, battery packs being recharged, a sleeping bag drying out, lots of other stuff drying out, my laundry. As soon as one gets into one of these nice clean rooms, they turn into these enormous places of stuff that needs to dry. I'm cleaner than ever. So here's the corridor, some wall art. The reception desk, though they don't seem to use it a lot. An aquarium, well kept it seems, with goldfish. That's the entrance. Down there is a sauna. Here's a noteboard with suggestions of what to do. The back side of the reception, it's very open. And then there's a common room with a TV, a dinner table, an open fireplace with a small electric fireplace on it. There's an outside patio where you could sit if you want to, and well, you can see my bike again there. And I've got the window. I can't really show it to you. And then there's a kitchen. So, outdoors on the other side looks a lot less fun than the patio does. That's the whole of the Bolanda experience. Good morning. It's the 7th of July. It's 7:30 in the morning. I've been awake for an hour, had breakfast, shaved myself and packed up my stuff. I'm soon gonna get my bike, load it up and get out of here. I've had a great night though. I did sleep less than I do out in the forest. I don't know why that is. Nice place to stay, can recommend it warmly. As I said earlier, not that expensive. Today it's gonna be a rainy day again, and it's gonna be more rainy towards the evening, and I'm staying at a campground in Åmål, which is the goal for today's biking. So I wanted to make an early start of it to make sure that I get the lesser amount of rain at least. But I'm gonna get wet. But this might be the last day of wetness. The weather report says sun and heat for the coming week after this one. It will, as usual, be a great day. So this cute little cat came to say goodbye to me as I was packing up to go from the hostel. So, I'm on my way out from Bolanda. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm thinking about how much of this do you want to see in a video about bicycling Sweden. This is what it looks like most of the time. Country road, not a lot of traffic, fields or forests, and just pumping on. So, commute says turn left in 17 kilometers. It's nice riding, I enjoy it, but I don't think it makes for great viewing. So just imagine a lot of this in between places of interest, because that's what it is. Lots of country roads. So this is a little museum and garden and cafe in Rostock. It looks delightful, but unfortunately I'm here way too early, so it's closed. If I'm reading the signs correctly, there was actually a health spring here that people were drinking out of. So it says Rostock Spring or Rostock Well on this little building. Yep. So another site I was a little bit too early for. It's the Dalsland Art Museum. I'm not sure I want to look at art when I'm on holiday, because that's what I do when I work. But I was looking forward to some coffee and perhaps a sandwich. But then I had to wait 45 minutes here, and since there is rain in the air, I won't do that. Lovely place though. Why they have a Café Bonaparte at the art museum is more than I know. So this is Dalsland Canal. At the bottom you will see the canal, and then the green line is an aqueduct where boats travel, I think, and then there's a car road above that one, and you can see there's a lock as well. I don't think it's opening right now. So I had lunch down at the visitor center, which was a tourist information for all of Dalsland. This is the car bridge. Here's the aqueduct. Boats are traveling there. Now you can see people actually walking along it. And then there's the train bridge, and there's a pipe for more water. And down the red building was where I had lunch. So quite a system, and some very, very height difference lock taking boats down from this river. It's a complicated system. I'm sure it works as intended, otherwise it wouldn't be here. Great to see. And the views are spectacular wherever you look. So I'm ascending down a beautiful path to look at Bronze Age rock carvings. There's supposed to be a lot of them here, and I think I'm coming up to the first ones here. I needed a break. That was a very hilly and complicated piece of walk. Yes, there's a procession. 2 ships and people following them. Well, I am in no way an expert on this, and the good thing is that no one is an expert on what they mean exactly, because this is prehistory. There are no written sources telling us what is happening here. I suppose there are some very good guessing. So, in this acrobatic figure on the middle of a boat, that's a strange one. And then there are people with spears. There are circles, animals that look like horses. And then another ship with someone holding up something in his hand. To me it looks like a whip, but it could just as well be a circle. And there is perhaps another one of those acrobatic figures. Beautiful. So I am in Åmål, well known from Lukas Moodysson's film Fucking Åmål, which I think was filmed in Trollhättan and not in Åmål. Well, anyway, I'm on a campground. It's not the most beautiful campground because it's raining. I just had a hamburger. It was meh. It was okay. It's not very late in the evening. I think it's about 6 o'clock. And I'm going to my tent. And there I will bury myself in my sleeping bag because it's kind of cold and wet. And listen to some audiobook. I managed to do almost all my riding today before it started to rain, and that's fine because I started so early this morning, and I'm glad for that. I got just the tiniest amount of rain as I approached Åmål. Tomorrow is another day. I'm going into Karlstad, and I think that might be the end of the rainy season. At least that's what the weathermen say. Here's my tent. Of all this campground, I think it's only the tent portion that is nice. The rest of it is quite dull. It's in the outskirts of the city. But this part looks nice. And I've got a great view over Vänern. And over there is a bathing ground. Now, it would of course be a lot better in sunshine. But rain is what I got. This is me inside my tent. Hilleberg Anjan 2. I'm in Åmål, but that doesn't matter. I just want to show you what it's like to be in here. It is fairly small. I've got this small vestibule where I can keep my stuff. Days like this when it's raining. And I got this line where I can try to dry stuff from. Then there is room enough to sit. I've been out 2 persons in this tent. There's no problem in that. But it's roomy and nice for 1 person.
Good morning. It's the 8th of July and I woke up to a lot of rain, though with a beautiful view. So I'm sitting inside my tent, I'm making coffee. I will have to pack up sitting in the tent because I don't want stuff to get wet. You can do that too. Hopefully this might be the last wet morning for a couple of days. You never know. I'll be starting riding in rain. Not my favorite, but I'll manage that too. But yeah, look at that. Great place to wake up to. Though I think I've seen this campground as its worst. This is a summer holiday place. It's not very fun when it's raining. And I've got company in my tent. I will have to evacuate him or her.
So it's 10 o'clock and I'm heading out from this campground in the outskirts of Åmål going to Karlstad. 85 kilometers. I've got plenty of time. I hope there's some fun things to see on the way. Just hit me. It started raining the moment I got into Åmål. And then it rained all the time I was there. And once I got out, not clear skies, but it has stopped raining again. There won't be clear skies today. Not until the evening. Nice day for a ride. It's my least favorite construction of bicycle roads. This one runs parallel to a state road. 100 kilometers per hour, fencing and all that. Well, this is very safe, both for cars and bicyclists. But the noise and all the cars is annoying and boring. Just made a short stop in Säffle for a sandwich and some coffee and cake in the cafe behind me. Nice place. It's just beside a canal, so I had a view out over the water. Yet another unexpected stop. I saw signs about this man in Säffle. I didn't think there was a place marker as imposing as this one. So this farm is the birthplace of Esaias Tegnér, a Swedish poet, a student and professor at Lund University, which is my home university. So this is a marker saying Esaias Tegnér was born here the 13th of November 1782. So he is one of those really early national poets of Sweden, and there is a little sign telling his story as well. So it's June 9th, so it's the 9th day of my trip, so about a third through it. From Karlstad to Hagfors today. Hagfors is the birthplace of Swedish singer Monica Zetterlund, and there's a museum about her life there that I want to see. It's a long trip, 90 kilometers. I will do it slowly. I've got a bed and breakfast waiting for me in Hagfors that I booked through booking.com. No endorsement, they are just the only place to book things. It's a very sunny day. It's gonna be somewhere over 20 degrees Celsius. I hope to find shade along the road. But as always, it's a great day to be on a bike through Sweden. So this is Klarälvsbanan. I've been riding it for 15 kilometers out of Karlstad. I have no idea how much longer I will be on it. For me it could be the whole day if I got to choose. It's old railroad, so it's very straight, but there's no proper hills. They are slow and nice. And there's asphalt on the ground. It's way away from all car traffic. And it's varied. It's forest and it's open landscapes, one after another. It's wonderful. Wish you all were here with me. And then I got closer to Munkfors, and in Munkfors I visited the Fridolf Rudin Museum, so that's a Swedish comic from early Swedish movie history. It is owned and run by Ove Karlsson since the mid-1980s, and he was a performer. He sung, he acted out scenes, and he did imitation. It was absolutely fantastic. Going out of Munkfors, I still had 30 kilometers of biking along Klarälvsbanan that runs parallel to Klarälven until I got to Hagfors and finally found the Pintro bed and breakfast where I have booked a room. I got this little cottage for myself. It was very nice. I rode a few hundred meters into Hagfors and had dinner at this restaurant where I ate a poke bowl and had a beer. And then I slept very well. Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. It's Thursday, 10th of July, so the 10th day of my trip. I have been sleeping in this bed and breakfast in Hagfors. Pintro it's called. It's not really done yet. It's under renovation, or they are building it. But it was a nice place to stay, though hard to find because there are no signs whatsoever. I got my own little house to sleep in, and I could lock my bike on the veranda in front of it. Now I'm riding out into the forest, and it will be on traffic roads this time. The coming 4 nights will be outdoors, though at least 1, perhaps 2 will be on campgrounds. Today it's gonna be hot. Hopefully there won't be a last minute hail and thunderstorm that I had for 20 minutes at the end of yesterday's trip, which was sunny otherwise. Today I believe it will be sunny all the time. Let's go. So this kind of road cycling is not my favorite, but today it's perfectly okay. These are high-speed roads, 80 kilometers per hour, but there is not much traffic. And the roadsides are pretty safe to go down into if you need to. And definitely not a lot of heavy traffic. So it's fine. Plan today was to ride 60 kilometers and stay at what might be a shelter. I would probably do 70 or 80 kilometers and just stay in the woods instead. I brought along plenty of water from the bed and breakfast. So still 10th of July, 15 days left. Today's trip has got no sights as such, as far as I know at least. I might stumble upon something, one never knows. The only thing I marked on my map is a pizzeria. It's just 12 o'clock. I've ridden 40 kilometers. It's fairly easy biking, although it's a lot of uphill. I'm going up into the mountains at the moment, but it's not all that steep. Now, what is to see on this trip, which is very, very hard to film, is nature and how big it is and how blue the sky is and how great it all feels and smells. It's quiet. It's easy to ride, even on the roads with more cars. This is a gravel road and I haven't met a car yet. I'll soon be out to a bigger road again. But this is beautiful. Fredriksberg was at the end of today's trip. I had a very nice red Thai curry at a lovely little place where I sat talking to some other people who were vacationing there. Then I went to the local cafe and had a cup of coffee and a skolbulle, basically a hot dog bun with crème pat and some frosting. Going out of Fredriksberg was one of the longer climbs of this trip, going up to 400 meters above sea level. I think the absolute highest point I was at 640 meters above sea level, but that comes a little bit later. I normally live at sea level, so yeah, it's something. So I have set up my tent on this open field, which is sort of a remembrance place for the Swedish poet Dan Andersson. His father was a teacher at the school that previously was here, so he was born on this place. The rest of the area going up to the Luosa-stugan, which I'm going to tomorrow, I have avoided it today consciously, is a nature reserve. So it was either this or camping in a nature reserve. So I decided to do this, and I put up my tent highly visible, and the 3 cars that I passed by, and they had driven by back and forth a couple of times, stops and looks at me. One of them waved and smiled, and the other 2 just drove away after having a look at me. Now, I think I look like a fairly unharmful older man on a bike, so I don't think I'll getting any trouble. They should have stopped and talked to me if they wanted me to move. It is very, very quiet here. I think I'm gonna sleep well. That's all for today. So it's Friday, June 11th. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I got a very early start today. I have vacated this shady campground. Nobody seemed to be bothered. It hit me later that most people living up here are very outdoorsy and go hunting, so they know about camping in the wild. Well, this isn't really the wild. Anyway, I'm about to go visit Luosa-stugan, a home where the poet who was born in the schoolhouse that used to stand on this spot lived for a couple of years, 1911 to 1915. And then he went to Stockholm and then he died. I wish I could play some of his music, but YouTube doesn't like that. And then I'm going on short ride, 75 kilometers, to a campground, commercial campground, between Bolanda and Leksand. Again, it's going to be a sunny day. Again, it's going to be a great ride. I'm going to have to do some riding on walking paths just at the beginning here. Let's see how that goes. So here I am walking up to the Luosa cottage with my bike. The Luosa cottage is, of course, part of one of Dan Andersson's most famous poem, the one about the beggar from Luosa who sits by a campfire surrounded by people who listen to him as he speaks about traveling to other places, about traveling beyond this world, about not feeling a belonging anywhere. It's a wonderful poem, but only available in Swedish, and you really should listen to someone singing it. You can find it on Spotify or Apple Music. Do that. It's a wonderful thing. So this is the Luosa-stugan. It's Dan Andersson who invented that way of pronouncing the place. Luosa has been the original name, and he just lived here for 4 years. Renowned Swedish poet that died young. It's like most other Swedish small red houses. It's very, very small. It's just 2 rooms inside, and then there's a barn, you could say, on the other side. And they do keep a lot of events here, and they have guides that sing and talk and tell the story. But the first one will be here at 11 o'clock, and I unfortunately haven't got the time to stay and wait for that. But I'm so glad to have been here. Over there at the farthest end is the desk where Dan Anderson is said to be sitting writing, and then there's a general table and a stove. And if we walk around to the other room, we will see another desk and a heating stove and a dresser, or an organ. It's an organ, and some pictures. And if I turn around the corner, you can see straight through the cottage very, very easily. So, time for me to get going. It's an easy ride, but it's already hot. Soon enough, I was out of the hiking trail and a few shorter gravel roads and back on the same big road as I was on yesterday. And I'll stick to this for a while. I haven't checked how much, so 10 kilometers. Had to check on my watch. And then it's time to go off the Swedish trail to take sort of a shortcut to where I'm going. No biggie, should just be regular small roads. I try to check them as good as I can. Short break by a lake I don't know the name of. Just going to have some chocolate, stretch my shoulders a bit, and I keep going. I've been on some hiking trails, I've been on bad gravel road and on half good gravel road, but now it seems to be roads with asphalt again. It's been a very varied set of different roads today, and I think it will continue. So this part of my ride today, that is, it's the day that I'm going off the many trails, taking a shortcut. I didn't check what kind of streets I'm going on, so it's, I think, 12 kilometers on this pretty good gravel road. It's compact gravel road, it's almost like an asphalt road. That's what happens when you leave the Swedish trail or all the other trails I've been on. You find interesting but not very trafficked and sometimes horrible roads, though today I only had like 500 meters of that previous. That was so gnarly I didn't want to film it. Sun is up, I'm happy. I have got about 30 kilometers to go, I think. Everything is a-okay. So this is the eastern arm of Dalälven, and just beyond the corner beyond that it flows together with the western end, and it all becomes Dalälven. And I have followed Dalälven most of the day But every time I've seen it, it just looked like a lake through the trees because it's such a big one. So Dalarna River. So after 75 kilometers, fairly easy riding on very different kinds of road, quite a lot of gravel, and doing the only really long route that I had to plan without using mostly bicycle trails. I'm finally here in Dalarna at Riverside Camping or something like that. Camping close to Klarälven. So this is what a Swedish camping ground looks like. A girl from one of the caravans down there came over and gave me dinner. A grilled pork chop and some pasta. It was tasty. Unfortunately I had already eaten, so I could eat about half of it. But the gesture is very, very nice. She was from the same part of Sweden as I am. So that was just a news flash on my phone about the potential for heavy rains the coming days. So I have to ride in them. That's no way to avoid that. But I did book rooms in Mora and Rättvik, and I already have a room booked in Falun. So the first one is a hostel. I booked a bed in a 4-bedroom that I will be sharing with strangers. The second is a room with a shared shower, and the third one is a regular hotel. But I'll be sleeping indoors. I will have a chance to dry up between fighting in the rain. Well, that's Swedish summer for you. Right now it's a wonderful warm summer evening in Dalarna. So it's 12th of July. It's 8:30. I'm on my way to Mora. It's a 95-kilometer ride, so it's long. But there's lots of cafes on the way, and the sun will be shining today. However, it will start raining this evening, and it might be heavy raining during the night. But as I said previously, I've booked accommodations to avoid having to sleep outside. Early start, slow ride, sun is up, everything's great, let's go. So I'm just outside of Leksands Knäckebröd bakery, so Leksand Crisp Bread Bakery. They have an outlet shop, that's a factory behind me, and they had a cafeteria serving crisp bread sandwiches. So I had a cup of coffee and a crisp bread sandwich. Now it's time to go on again. This is Leksand. I was into the city. I had a cup of coffee and a cake and a sandwich. And I bought some very small gifts to friends at home. Small, nice city. Would probably have loved to stay here yesterday, but wouldn't have liked to ride the extra kilometers to get here. And I wouldn't like to have missed the camping ground that I woke up in this morning. That was a great place too. Now I'm heading on outwards over this bridge. You can see it there. Coffee shop of this little community's open air museum of buildings. They were shocked at how expensive the coffee, cake and water was, because it was 80 kronor. And I think, well, that's not cheap, but at least I'm supporting this little place. Great. Straight ahead you see the hostel I stayed in, Målkullarnas hostel, building to the right. I shared a room with two other guys. One didn't speak at all and one spoke only Korean, so I had a very quiet evening. It was a nice place, and since you share a room it's very cheap. I had a hamburger at a restaurant close by and a walk around the city. So good morning. It's Sunday, July the 13th. I'm in Mora, as you perhaps can see. There's a Mora needs a museum and a Vasaloppets house. I'm not going there. I'm going to the Zorn museum, which just opened at 9 o'clock, so perfect for me. And then there's the house in which Zorn lived as well, nearby. And then I'm leaving, and there's a craft center as well that a colleague recommended me. So those are the things I'm going to visit here in Mora. Hopefully get a cup of coffee. Again, I just had breakfast back at the hostel here. Oh, the yellow building there is the hostel. It will rain a little bit in the afternoon, though no heavy rain. I have a very easy ride, 49 kilometers. So this will be fun. Have a great day, I'm sure having it. So here I'm leading you through some of the under Zorn museum. This is Zorn himself. I'm not going to give you an introduction to Zorn. Others can do it so much better than I can. He was a Swedish painter living around the turn of a century at the beginning of the 20th century. He died in 1920. He was a very, very successful painter. He painted nudes and he painted folkloristic motifs of peasant life in Dalarna. Those were the two most famous parts of his paintings. He was a highly commercial artist. He painted to become rich, and he was very, very successful in this, and he saw painting as work. He's very much painting in a tradition of academic painting, though with a light touch and with a keen observation of his surroundings. He was loved by many people, and a lot of Swedes have Zorn reproductions in their homes. He went abroad. He worked in London, he visited Paris, I think he even was in America, but I'm not sure. As I said, I may say stupid things because I have not read up on Zorn to do this. It's just improvisation. And then he went back to Mora and started his life there in his home, Zorngården. I'm going to show you a picture of that later. I went on a guided tour to Zorngården, though you are not allowed to film or photograph inside. He's one of three famous artists of a time. The other two are Carl Larsson and Bruno Liljefors. He was also quite a society man, knew the King of Sweden and a lot of other famous figures. He basically ate himself to death, living a very luxurious life with lots of big dinners and lots of wine, which in the end became his end. Leaving Mora behind me, following Siljansleden today, and this is Siljan at the furthermost east end, I believe. And I'm going all around it again, so this is just a small part of Siljan, really. As you can see, the weather, there will be rain probably, though I'm promised by the meteorologist that it won't be heavy. Let's see. Next stop is the place where they make Dalkarliga horses. The rain came and thus thunder. I'm in Nusnäs looking at people making Dalkarliga horses. So this is the original place. I actually bought one from this place. I will get a picture of it. Here they paint them by hand and they cut them by hand, and then you got a modern competitor who's got a robot that cuts and sands the horses. So the robot cut horses and robot painted horses are more expensive and they look more industrial. These were nicer, but yeah, it's Dalkarlia horses, it's just a thing to put on a shelf. But still, if this was my goal for the trip, I had to buy one. And yeah, I'm standing here next to a boat. I think it's a church boat, kind that they rowed to church on Sundays a long time ago. And I've got a roof over my head, but I better get out in this rain actually. You can't win them all, I'm gonna get wet. So this is one fairly horrible gravel road. It's kind of these large stones and the sand in between them is very soft. And the rain makes you just go swish swish to different ways in the road. And that's 9 kilometers of it. I've done 2 this far. I hope it gets better soon. This was the worst part of the trail this far, as goes for conditions for biking. There are no really bad parts though. It's still a beautiful forest and it doesn't rain anymore. So I have arrived in Rättvik at Stiftsgården. Now this is a Christian place. They do not serve alcohol and there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of young teens who are out on their first stay away from home on some sort of Christian camp. It's excessively bland. The place is bland, the interior is bland, the choice of magazines is bland, and the food is bland. Could I recommend it? Well, it's cheap and it's in the right place, so yeah, sure. Should I recommend it for pleasure? Well, if you are very Christian, very young, and enjoy bland things, please come here. I think I'll pass the next time. Good morning. It's Monday and it's the 4th of July. It's about 7:30 and I'm just waiting for the breakfast to open here at Stiftsgården. I'm leaving shortly. It's still sunny out. I've got a 55-kilometer ride to Falun. And then the plan was to do an excursion to see Carl Larsson's home Sundborn. So that's 13 kilometers out from Falun and 13 kilometers back. I will do that if the weather keeps sunny, but if it's raining I won't do it, even though I really would like to see Sundborn. But there is again a warning for very heavy rain downpour, so I might miss out on Sundborn now. So I just gotten out of Rättvik. Today's trip is strange in one way. The first 9 kilometers out of Rättvik was uphill, in parts steep but not super steep. It was rideable all the way. And now it's downhill for 45 kilometers into Falun. So I managed to do the hard uphill part while it was dry, and now the rain is very, very slowly starting to dripping down on me. Anyway, I'm gonna have a piece of chocolate and then it's further on. It's a great day to be on a bike again. It always is. As you can see, this is a wonderful landscape to ride your bike in. It's wide open, you can see very far, you've got the mountains, you've got the lakes, you've got the sky, and here you got a fairly good piece of gravel road. Now, some other parts of gravel this day were horrible. Where they have worked on the road or worked in the forest, they just pour out some really large stones that are supportive for big heavy machinery, but not very nice for bikers nor for people hiking. Otherwise, it was a good day. It rained a lot, but not all the time. As you can see, here's a pause in the rain, and it's drying up again. It was mostly a day when I rode through forests on gravel roads, but at times I passed through small villages like this one, and they are of course a delight. After this village I rode for I think about an hour through the forest, and there started a very heavy rain with thunder, and then as I turned on a gravel road, disaster struck. So this is exciting. It's raining, there's thunder, there's lightning, and I heard a poof, and now I've got a flat tire that I have to switch the inner tube on. Great! Fuck. I managed to switch my inner tube out in the woods in the rain, but it looked horrible and the tire was lumpy. I managed to ride 30 kilometers into Falun, where I found this bike shop that was open today with the help of Google, but it went kunk 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 and not very good. So I thought I'd done something wrong. It turned out that the outer tire had gone as well when the inner went, so I had to switch out both. Now, the ordinary mechanic who works here was out racing today, so there was just a guy who works here, and he and I together managed to switch the tire. He found the right stuff, he put on the tire and the inner, and I put it on and off the bike, and was responsible for making sure gears and brakes works as they should. We did it. I'm so happy. And the sun is out. However, Sundborn is definitely out of the loop now. There will be no Sundborn on this trip. I learned a lot of other things instead, so I'm not sad about that. And the ride into Falun was stunningly beautiful after the rain, but I was too worried about my bike to actually stop and make any film. Sorry about that. And as I turned the corner from the bike shop, it's behind those two yellow buildings, you see there's a road between them. I came to this, the museum and the mine shaft for Falun Koppargruva, the basis for Swedish wealth for a long time. So this has been at times a rough day, but it did have some silver linings. The bike mechanic that could fix everything, and this hotel Falun, which looked like not very much from the outside, and it's not very expensive. And then I open up my door to this gigantic and wonderful room. Gosh, I love this. So I've got a just as large bathroom with a shower and a big bathtub. So you know what this biker's gonna do to relax right now. Hopefully my shoes will dry till tomorrow. Hopefully I will be rested and have no more issues with my bike on this trip. So a very quiet evening in Falun. I went to a restaurant that had some very good reviews, a pizza restaurant, and ate a horrible dinner. The restaurant looked very fun, and I think it would be great to sit there and have some of their drinks. The drinks looked fun too. I didn't have any, so I had no idea if they were good. They were the kind of fruit juice based ones. So anyway, never mind. I had a nduja pizza, which didn't contain any nduja at all. It was soggy, though the outermost part of the crust was probably baked. They just didn't know how to do it, and they didn't have the stuff to do it either. So it wasn't very expensive. I had a nice glass of Chianti. The staff was friendly. I didn't complain because I'm on vacation, and it's not my job to educate people. Now I've been at Hemköp, shopping a bit of food for the coming days if I need to. You never know if there's food on the campsites where I'm going, so you better come prepared. I'm on my way back to the hotel, and I'm going to go to sleep quite early, as usual. So it's Tuesday, the 15th of July. It's about 10 past 8. I've had breakfast, I've showered, packed up my stuff, and I'm ready to go. Now I'm turning southwards, towards my home again, slowly, step by step. There's 11 days of biking still left. This room was fantastic. I think I was upgraded either randomly or by some random act of kindness. I have no idea. I didn't pay a lot for it, so it can't be a regular room. Or this is just an amazing hotel for the price. So I'm riding gravel again, but in sunshine. Most of it is good, some of it is rough, and some of it is very rough. We are talking big stones, good for the heavy machinery that operates in the area. It was the same thing yesterday, and I think that contributed to the problem with my back tire that blew. So if you're going here with your bike, make sure to plan accordingly. Most of the trails have contained a lot of gravel, and some of that gravel, this is sort of mid-gravel. It's okay, and that's a bit run up on the side so you can ride there. But at times it is just lots and lots of big stones, and that takes a toll on you and your bike, and you're going very slowly. It's nice to be away from the big roads. It's nice to be away from the cars. It's nice to be close to nature. But God, I hate those big stones. So I am here at Åmålstugan. I'm not gonna tell the entire story, but it has to do with Gustav Vasa, the man who sort of shaped Sweden, united Sweden to a nation. He was 25 years old when he was orchestrating an uprising against Christian II of Denmark, who was king of Sweden at the time, 1520s. He was betrayed and he managed to escape this place by jumping out through the toilet or the privy, which would have been on the second floor, and these second floors that hang out do allow for that, and it does exist. And it might be true, it might not be true. History writing from this time is sketchy, to say the least. Unfortunately, they are closed as a museum both Mondays and Tuesdays, and the cafe is closed as well. So I will only be able to see this from the outside. It is a magnificent building. Let me take a step back. It looks absolutely great. I would have liked to see the inside as well. And I would especially have liked to have a cup of coffee and some cake here, because I followed them on Instagram for the longest time to see what happens. Anyway, I'm here. This is history. This is how one of the places where Sweden is made, at least mythologically. Well, there is, of course, truth to it. Gustav Vasa becomes the king of Sweden. He succeeds in his uprising. Nice place, situated just on this beautiful lake as well. Oh, it was in the winter time Vasa came here, so he came over the lake. The ice was weak and he went through, though managed to keep his arms on the ice, and he was helped by the peasant who had this place back here. So this is just one part of what was built here in 1520. Then it was a much larger compound of several more buildings. This is the one that is left. It's a warm evening here at Barken Lodge, a campground that also want to be a conference center, and they have a restaurant but no staff, and it's a strange place. I can see Gordon Ramsay rush in screaming at everyone about everything that's wrong. But the campground was cheap, 125 kronor. I paid 150 to do my laundry. So that's more expensive, but I really needed to do my laundry. Next time I'm gonna bring detergent in pods. Now I'm just using the same soap as I use for everything, and that doesn't cause a lot of bubbles. You can use it in a washing machine as well. But I will bring 3 or 4 pods of some sort of detergent if I'm going out like this again, because there's never detergent, even when you pay so much. It's warm. I have to wait till sun come down until I can go to bed. It's way too warm to lay in the tent right now. But it's nice. Tomorrow will be a long day, and it will be mostly in the woods. I pass by 2 shops And then there are 2 pizzerias close to each other near the goal for tomorrow's turn. So that will be my opportunities for food. I had pea soup today, a great pea soup from a can that I heated in the microwave here. Worked out like a charm. It's a good day to be on holiday. Oh yeah, I could clean up my bike here as well. There was a garden hose that I'm not sure why it was there, but I used it and my bike is fresh again. And my clothes are fresh and I'm happy. I was up at the lodge earlier. I thought I could get a beer and sit on the veranda and watch the sunset. But there was no one there. I just heard strange noises. I happened to mention this to the woman who was in the kitchen when I came to do my washing up. And half an hour later, she and her husband gives me a cold beer. So now I'm sitting here in the sunset enjoying a nice cold Mariestads beer. It's the kindness of strangers, The kindness of strangers. It's a great thing. Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 16th. I'm going 90 kilometers southwards towards next camping, which I believe is called Uskavi. I haven't checked. It's gonna be a hot day. I hope I can make this. I need to stop and make breaks just out in the forest because this is one section of my hike where there is very few cafes, villages, shops, etc. I have to be pretty self-sufficient. There's a convenience store after 14 kilometers, and then there are 2 pizzerias and a cafe just at the end of my trip. But that's it. For the rest, I'm out in nowhere. That's another way to go biking, not a bad one. Let's go. So this far today's ride has been very easy. I thought it would be very sunny, but instead I get this ever so slight hint of rain, which is kind of comfortable. You see the road behind me? It's wide, it's asphalt, it's uphill and downhill all the time, but it's not very hard, and there's not a lot of traffic though. There was a car with a bike on its back. Why didn't they use the bike? I don't know. So this seems to be a comfortable day. And it's just wood and this street that goes on forever. I don't mind. It's a nice change. So it's evening and I got here to Uskavi camping at 5:30. It was very much up and downhill this ride, so it took some time and it was pretty warm. It will be warmer still tomorrow. It will be uphill, downhill, but not as much, or at least not as high as today. I'm planning to go 90 kilometers tomorrow as well, and if I could, I would like to go another 10 or 15 kilometers to cut the next days to a bit shorter, because that would be 90 as well, and that one ends up in Vadstena, and it would be nice to have some more time in Vadstena in the evening, but it's not necessary. So I'm just prepping myself by packing more water. I've got the green thing there under my bike is a 4-liter C2 Summit water bag, which works like a bag-in-box but with soft sides. It's great, easy to carry around when there's no water in it, and I just put it on my bike when I need to carry water. This is a very calm place. Kids are bathing and playing. It is also another of those Christian places, but this one seems way more relaxed than the Bible study thing that went on in the last place. This just seems to be Christian people that wants a camping site and allows anyone in. It's very clean. Not the most inexpensive place I've been to. The service house is great. I think I have a short walk around and show you a little bit of what it's like. It's Thursday, 17th of July. I'm on my way southbound, passing Mora and then finding a place in the woods many kilometers further up. The plan today is 90 kilometers. Hopefully I will do 100 or 105 because I want to get closer to Vadstena, which is the day after tonight. It's gonna be hot, it's gonna be hilly, but there's lots of cafes on the way, so we'll manage. It's a great day to be biking. It's today's first coffee break. Sandwich, cake and coffee in Mora. I just picked up Entyvio for my crons at the pharmacy. Sat on a park on a bench and injected it. First time for everything. And send one dose home to a friend, so you get 2 doses automatically. I've just done 14 kilometers. I have a lot still left to go and many more coffee breaks. So it's 6 o'clock in the evening. I passed the point I had marked for start looking for a way to wild camp. And that piece of land, that nature reserve, was horrible. There was electric fencing around it, and the ground was all worked up as if there were wild boar in that reserve, which is possible. Anyway, I knew it wouldn't be a good place. So now I'm riding on into the sunset, looking for a good place, but also trying to shave off hopefully 20, perhaps 25 kilometers of tomorrow's ride, which is otherwise 100 kilometers. And I want it to be shorter, as I said. I want to have more time in Vadstena. There's a lot of flies around here, so I better get going. Good evening, everyone. It's 8:15 in the evening, and I managed to ride 25 kilometers extra. So tomorrow's ride will be a short 71 kilometers. I've set up my tent on an abandoned piece of road. It's an off-road to an off-road. Neither has been used in a long time. So here I will have some calm. The large road is just on the other side of this field, the place where they cut down all the trees. So I hear cars from now and then, but that doesn't matter. I hear more birds than cars. So this will be a quiet night. When I wake in the morning, it's up and riding again. That's not much to do in a campsite like this one. But I'm very glad to be able to do it. That's all. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, 18th of July. It's 7:45 in the morning. I've just had breakfast, slept very, very well here. It was very quiet. I heard some oomph from a party way, way away. But that didn't disturb me, and it stopped at around 10. So I've got a 71 kilometers ride into Vadstena today. I've got a shop after 24 kilometers and some cafes at the end of a tour. So there could have been more cafes. That's all I can say. It's not very hilly. It's gonna be warm. It will probably be a delightful ride. It usually is. Let's go. Still going on. 12 kilometers from last night's campsite now. And I noticed that if I had ridden on, I would have found so many better looking, more beautiful places to camp. But I can't really just go on and on and on trying to find a perfect spot. Sometimes good enough just has to do. And it was 8 o'clock and I needed to sleep. So it worked out beautifully. Though, look at this forest. It's wonderful. Had lunch in Mora at a burger place just around the corner from the large city square. which of course was a parking lot, and you can see the remains of the shopping centers, Domus, temple that had been there that now have been turned into gallerias. It is the same in every mid-sized Swedish city ever. A few tried to make something better than a parking lot of that grass. Anyway, Motala was not a very interesting city. The best part about it is this park that runs along Göta Canal. There are floodgates or gates, and all the bridges can open and close, and there's even a turning train bridge, which I think is decommissioned because it looks very, very worn out and not cared for. I've got 20 kilometers to Vadstena and a couple of hours to do it in until I'm let into the hostel, so let's go riding. It's nice to eat something. So this is the kind of crap you have to solve at times. Sverigeleden, the Swedish trail that I was planning on following to get away from far too trafficked roads, is closed off because they're having a folk race. That is, they are racing in really crappy cars. So, cars. Why do we allow this shit? With the help of Komoot, I found an alternate route. It was tricky to get on it because you had to ride around in strange places in the outskirts of Motala. But I solved it. And now it seems pretty straightforward, avoiding the biggest, most trafficked road at least. Hopefully I'm not hitting on horrible gravel or small roads that tourists like. It began nicely in the park. Now it's 6 kilometers of this 80s road, which is fairly heavily trafficked. I get so tensed up when I have to ride on these streets, so this is what I try to avoid by going a roundabout way into Vadstena. But they wanted to drive cars there, so I can't. It's just a matter of pressing through. Right, I can do it, I hope. So I arrived Vadstena at 3 o'clock, just as the hostel opened for new guests. So that was perfect matching. Vadstena is certainly one of the more picturesque of Swedish cities. I'm walking, I'm not riding my bike through the city because I wanted a change. Everything is on a very human scale. I think that's one of the reasons why this place feels so comfortable. And it hasn't been destroyed by decisions to pull traffic into the city center. This is all residential housing and a few shops, restaurants, etc. thrown in. So, as you can see, the old city character is definitely kept intact here. Saint Birgitta of Sweden, or Saint Bridget, born in 1303, dead in 1373, was a noblewoman, a mystic, and founder of the Brigittine order. She received divine visions from an early age and became a spiritual advisor to king and popes. After her husband's death, she devoted her life to religious work, traveled to Rome, and called for reform of the church. Her writings and revelations gained wide influence in medieval Europe. She was canonized in 1391 and is one of the patron saints of Europe. The church in Vadstena, founded by her followers, became a spiritual center of her order and a major pilgrimage site. Inside the church stands a striking medieval wooden sculpture of Saint Birgitta, showing her in a calm, visionary expression, holding a book and a pilgrim staff, symbols of her wisdom and journeys. And this relic shrine is said to contain some relics of her as well as relics of other saints. So here we have another square in the other end of the long, not so long, shopping street. So here is the castle. Perhaps I should have rushed to it and spent half an hour here when I arrived. I didn't, and I won't do it tomorrow. It would be interesting though. This is one of the old heavy castles with a moat intended to withstand warfare. So, a big open inner courtyard, towers and fortifications. And of course, it's turned into an event space. Everything is, isn't it? Good evening. Here's my room at the hostel. The hostel looks slightly boring from outside, like a tenement house from a small Swedish town, but it's very nice inside and it has a nice garden on the backside. I would warmly recommend this place. In the middle of Vadstena and not more expensive than other hostels. So 600 plus 100 for the sheets and a bath towel and 100 for breakfast. Good morning. It's Saturday, 19th of July. It's about 8:30. And today I'm going on a 90-kilometer long ride along the lake Vättern. Now, that's not so hard. That's a bit of hills up and down, but yeah, I'm gotten used to that. However, that is today's challenge. It will be up to 27 degrees warm, and I know that is hard on me when I'm biking, so I will have to take a lot of pauses. On the other hand, I just need to go to a campground before 6 o'clock in the evening or 7 o'clock in the evening, so no hurries. It will be a great ride, even if it's warm. I've been through all kinds of weathers this time. So, if you remember yesterday evening, Friday evening, I had to ride on that big 80 road with a lot of cars. Now, in front of me is that road, again, but on the other side of Vadstena. So Vätternleden goes off in that direction and takes a long and probably beautiful detour out along the coastline. But if I do that, that adds 7 kilometers. So I decided to watch for how much traffic this is, and I will be riding just 2 kilometers. As you can see, Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, there's not a lot of traffic. It's quite calm, so no problems. Let's go. So all planning and replanning is about compromises and possibilities. As you can see, sticking to the trail takes you to some very, very beautiful places. Now that's true of most trails, though the Swedish trail sometimes puts you up on very long transport stretches on boring road, and that's because it goes all over Sweden. It has so much more ground to cover. So riding up some steep inclines to Omberget, I have ridden through the forest you see to the right, and suddenly this vista opened up. That's Lake Vättern, and today there is so little wind that it's almost like a mirror. And the road I'm riding is nice, though cars are allowed in one direction, so I meet them all and have to step off the road to let them through. I have no idea why people would like to drive cars on such beautiful roads. They really should be biking here or walking. You can see the dramatic and very beautiful placement of this building. It's very hard to get an overview. This is not a place to look at, but a place to stay and live in. So just next door to Strand, there is the ruin of Alvastra Monastery, which was the first monastery in the Nordic countries, founded in 1143 by Cistercian monks who came from Clairvaux in France. So this is in a way the beginning of the christening of Sweden, one of the many beginnings. More of Lake Vättern and Visingsö. I'm slowly approaching Gränna. The boat you perhaps can see in the water goes from Gränna to Visingsö. I'm not going over to Visingsö. Gränna is dedicated to making candy, polkagrisar. As a kid I thought that was wonderful. Now it's just slightly tacky. They are not good. Sorry. So it's the end of the day and it's been a very warm one. I have to walk up a few not that steep hills, but I prefer to walk them to wear myself out completely. It's a nice road to walk on, that's no problem. And it's not very long. So this is where I will be staying tonight. A very simple and moderate priced campground with the saddest play area ever. No children will play here. I think most of the stuff is broken. But the sunset makes everything beautiful. Not a lot of people, many nooks and crannies to set up your tent in. I'm over in that direction and on another grassy field. We're very close to a motel, one of the first for one of the big highways that were built in Sweden. The personnel there was kind of snotty. They didn't know anything about the camping when I asked them, because I missed every single sign that showed me to the right place when I arrived here. Anyway, this will be nice and quiet, although you hear a lot of noises of cars. Good morning. It's Sunday. It's the 20th of July and it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm eating breakfast here at the campground and then I'm riding into Husqvarna and then out in the forests of Småland, where I'll be staying at a wind shelter at a hiking trail tonight. It's not a very long ride. It's slightly less than 70 kilometers. But it will be uphill almost all day, so let's hope those are not too steep inclines. That's it. It's gonna be a sunny day today too, and tomorrow, and then we'll see. Husqvarna and Jönköping and the highway, as heard and seen from the cafe where I had a sandwich and a bit of rest. So I've done half of today's ride, about 33 kilometers, and about half of the climb uphill. There's a lot of uphill going, but it's not all that hard, and it's a good training for me to go in a low gear, something I'm not used to in Skåne, which is a very, very flat piece of Sweden. I just passed Tenhult. That was the last two shops and the last place that sold pizza. And now I'm in Småland. Lots of forest, mostly spruces, though not right here. And long winding roads going uphill, downhill, and some traffic, but not a lot. It's a great day to be biking, definitely. It's 5:45 in the evening. It's Sunday. I've just set up my tent. I haven't unpacked my bike yet. I'm not sure how much I need to unpack. I'm at the shelter at a hiking trail that is called Smålandsleden, just as the biking trail I'm on, that also is called Smålandsleden. The good thing about using trail shelters is that there usually is a toilet nearby, and that's one here. There is no firewood and no tools to cut up the long logs. I looked in the trash cans and there was some empty bags of dehydrated meals and some paper coffee cups. So that to me says there have been some wanderers on Smålandsleden here the last days, and some Sunday visitors that brought coffee in paper cups in their cars as they got here. So I'm expecting a very, very quiet night here. There are no sounds except small sounds from nature. It's great. So I've set up camp here outside of Hagfors. Let's talk about some problems I'm having with this tour, because I always sound very positive and my troubles aren't really that big. But there are three different kinds of problems. One is the heat. I much rather take the rain that is coming than the heat. I sleep badly in the heat and I have problem eating properly. I eat a lot of candy and dinner today becomes sandwiches. No, but bought good bread at least. And I've checked so I come across some food tomorrow. I really can't eat in restaurants either unless they are air conditioned and cool. There's something with my appetite that just disappears when it's way too hot. The other problem is a slight medical one. I got bitten by a horsefly yesterday. I checked what to expect and my hand is a little bit stiff, a little bit swollen. And that is as it ought to be, or as you would expect from being bitten by a horsefly. There were plenty of them yesterday, and one took my hand. I can use it, there's no problem, but it's a little bit stiff. A friend told me about moose flies, which are like horseflies, but sticky, so you have a hard time getting them off your body, and they come in swarms. I have never encountered them, I never want to. And the third problem is eating and shopping in Småland at this moment. So shops and cafes are few and far apart here. People drive cars everywhere. And since they drive cars, they drive to big supermarkets outside of bigger cities. And the smaller shops just disappears. So one has to look closely at one's map and mark every place where it's possible to buy something. So you have food and drink, and from my position, getting cold drinks is by far the most refreshing and important part. Drinking a lot of Festis and a lot of Mer, both non-carbonated soft drinks that I like. So no big complaints, but heat, horseflies and lack of cafes is some small complaints on this part of the tour. Good morning. It's June 21st. It's about 7:30. I woke up at 7. I was a bit stiff. And then I looked at the clock and understood I've slept for about 10 hours. And that on an inflatable sleeping pad makes me a bit stiff. That's not much to do about that. There are very little birds in this campground, which makes it very, very silent. Now, there is one right now, but it is quiet. Today's ride is 70 kilometers. I'm going to Ramkvilla. It's a place where I've been before. I stopped there one night as I went up to Stockholm, and I'll be revisiting some of the places I saw that time, though I have tried very hard to plan so I don't do exactly the same streets again. I have to do it in a few instances, and some small bits of today's tour is like that. Anyway, I'm gonna make breakfast and then pack up and get on my way. It's not as warm today. It's a few centigrades lower heat. It's still warm, 25 degrees Celsius. And it won't be as hilly, not nearly as hilly. That's past me now. I'm off on my own adventure. I've left one trail and I'm having 30 kilometers on unknown roads to meet up with another one. Today is a nice day for this because it isn't all that warm. And when I was shopping ice cream in Hagfors earlier, the people spoke the kind of dialect that is common here, that my grandmother spoke and my aunt and uncle and their children. So it sounds like family. Most of them are gone by now because I'm an old guy, but it's nice to hear that melodic småländska once again. I had this place mixed up with another similar named place that I have been to earlier. I've never been here. This is a cafe and a thrift shop and a miniature golf course, and that's it. This is a completely homemade tourist attraction. I love those. And it's the added pleasure of having a cheese sandwich, some sort of synthetic biscuit, coffee and a soft drink somewhere where I never had before. Lovely. all my laundry and my bike as a drying rack. Why not? The Scanian flag is good. It gets people talking to me. I enjoy that. Mostly people from Skåne though. Of course. So, here's a tennis court. There's the service center, main building and reception. And on the other side of those trees, I believe somewhere over there, the golf court begins. And that way is bathing, as you can see, perhaps. It's Tuesday, 21st of July. I've just woken up and had breakfast and took a shower at Rankvilla camping. And 2 hours later, it's 9 o'clock. I'm just about to take down my tent and get out of here and go to Växjö, where I'm staying at a hostel. Now, this is a very short ride. It's 45 kilometers and it's quite flat. The days of really high rises in the terrain is over. I think it's Söderåsen is the highest I have to go pass over. Anyway, it's a bit sunny now, but very cloudy. There's promises of rain this evening or afternoon, and then it will rain for the remainder of my tour, but not much, just drizzle all the time. I hope that will be fine. Let's go. This is what I think of when I think about riding my bike in Småland. There's an awful lot of this. Small hills up and down, straight roads, spruce forest. Kind of boring. You have to be in the right mood to like it. There's a bit of it today. I'm guessing there'll be a lot more of it tomorrow, because it's such a long ride tomorrow. But that's tomorrow's worries, not today's. I'm just going on. I've done a decent amount of today's riding already. I'm in Växjö. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. When I was a bit outside of Växjö, I double-checked my booking to see when I could check in at the hostel and found out I had messed up. Not in a big way, just in a tiny way. So I've booked one hostel and I marked another hostel on my map. There is 2 hostels in or nearby Växjö. So the one I had on my map was on the north end of Växjö, and the one I actually had booked was a bit outside of Växjö but to the south. So that means I have to ride 15 kilometers more today, but that also means 15 kilometers less tomorrow because it was in the right direction. I think I had thought right when I booked it, and then I'd marked the wrong hostel when I planned in commute. So this is what you see when you come close to the place. So that's the manor up there. They've got a cafe and a restaurant, and it's very eclectically decorated interiorly with lots and lots of older stuff. Now, my room isn't in the manor, though I will be eating dinner there tonight because I could book. I'll be staying in this house instead. It is just as great inside. I think we go and have a look. So this is a common area, as you can see, decorated in a lot of different ways. It's a beautiful place. I like this lamp. I just like the feeling of the place in general. And here we have a kitchen. And there's some soft drinks and stuff to buy in the refrigerator. But you can keep your own stuff as well, and it's fully equipped. You could cook a dinner here if you wanted to, though. I've booked one at the manor, as I said. So my room is on the 2nd floor. I think this is a very imaginary couple that might have lived here. I don't think it is this building. Again, all the paintings are quite normal except this one, which is just odd. The rest are kind of mildly folkloristic. I can't place them in any way, there's lots of them. That's me. And here's my room, which I haven't bothered to lock. It's a big room. It's at least for 2 people. Now, I've of course turned it into a washing room and a storage space and a way to charge all my devices, but again, that's my bed. I paid extra for bed linen and for not having to clean. And here's the view from my window. They do recommend you to keep the windows closed because there's quite a lot of flies outside, and I noticed when I opened it. Anyway, this is a fantastic place. So it's evening, it's 8 o'clock. I had a great dinner. I just have some stills of it. Kroppkakor, kind of traditional småländsk and öländsk dumpling made with potatoes and pork. And they had put their own twist on it in a good way this time. Sometimes when people put their own twist on stuff, it becomes strange. Not here. They are very good at cooking. I could recommend this place to anyone. Anyway, I'm going to bed. I'm a bit tired. It's gonna be a wet day tomorrow. There are some severe warnings for very heavy rains, but I'm just at the very, very edge of that warnings area. So I think I will get away with some regular rain every now and then. And there have been a few showers since I arrived here too. 90 kilometers back to Skåne again. I'm looking forward to that. Good night. Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of July. It's about 8 o'clock. I'm packing up my stuff here to ride to Briannes. That means riding back to Skåne again. It's a long ride, 90 kilometers, but it seems decent. There's no large climbs. No, there are plenty of small ones though. And there's plenty of coffee and ice cream along the way. Hopefully I'll do just fine. This is the last place where I'm staying indoors on this trip. The remaining 2 stops are at wind shelters. I've got my tent. It will be raining. I've done it before. Now I'm going to go and have breakfast. It's raining a bit. It's 9:30 in the morning. It was a late breakfast here. It was a very nice breakfast. I'm off to Skåne. So I've been riding for about 10 kilometers. It's a very light summer rain. I'm just at the border of an area that's getting warnings for excessive amounts of rain. But I probably won't be affected. Who knows? Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the joy that the summer heat wave is over. It feels like I'm flying through the forest because it's not hot. It's fresh. The water in the air makes it feel even fresher. I've been able to eat properly both yesterday and today. I've slept very well. It's extremely great to be on a bike today, because this is what it's supposed to feel like. And well, the cows have already laid out for the day. Who cares? It's wonderful. And the rain is, as I said, very, very light. So I had 2 cafes in mind for a second breakfast. Neither of them opened until 12. So that's what you get in touristy areas, or places with lots of car tourists. They are late risers and late to their coffee as well. So I get no coffee here. I will get it later on. Now I'm off for some gravel on an old railway road. I did get a second breakfast at last, though it was 20 nice kilometers of riding at old railroad trail. So I'm still at Lake Åsnen. This is a very nice cafe. I'm not sure I can show you everything of it. And I'm going to relax here for perhaps half an hour. I don't know, till I feel ready to ride on. in that direction. So this is a place called Hönshylteskans. It was a defense building built in the 14th century, and this is what is left of it. So you can see the high tower, the high hill and the lower hill. They are so small. Now they have been damaged. I'll do this instead. They have been damaged when they built the road here and the railroad on the other side. But there have been a moat around these two man-made hills, and there has been a way of defending yourself and keeping animals here. Because this is on a thin piece of land between the lakes, the lake which is on both sides of it. So, fantastic place. So today's ride is done. I came here to a beautiful wind shelter at the Brenäs end of Immeln, that is the north end of the lake Immeln. There was one couple here before I arrived. I'm guessing there might come back more because it's a big campsite. There are both bike trails and hiking trails and canoe trails leading here. It's again a calm place. There's Lake Immeln just in that direction. I might even take a bath in it. On the other side of the water there is a bathing ground, and I hear the noises from children bathing. It's 7:30, 24th of July. Next to last day on my adventure, riding halfway through Skåne today, 80 kilometers, passing over Linderödsåsen, and compared to the other heights I've climbed, Linderödsåsen is nothing. But for Skåne, it's a hurdle. Now, I've done it before, so no problem there. It's overcast, it will drizzle a little around lunchtime. It will be a nice ride. So this all is an exhibition about this town, and I think these boxes ought to light up. I'm not sure there is any way to make them do that. There are no switches anyway. And it does focus on the stone mining that has been done here. And as you can see, there's a lot of stone of various qualities being showcased around it. So, nice thematic thing. So this will be my first and longest stop today, except I had ice cream in Knislinge. So this is Vannås. It's an art foundation. They have a large sculpture park that they add to every year, and then they have a few places for temporary exhibitions that are new every year. But the sculpture park just grows and grows. It's a fantastic place. And now I'm walking up to a piece of work that's been one of my favorites because they've been so mystical every time. This is Robert Wilson, who is a scenographer usually. Became famous by making scenography for Philip Glass, Eknaton and Einstein on the Beach, I believe. So this is house for Edward Denby, I think. And this is sounds, and that's light from the inside, and now it starts to rain as well. Slight drizzle just. It's magical. And of course, he's a scenographer. And the sizes are all wrong. And that is not at all. So I just stumbled upon a place that had a sort of pop-up communal cafe. So, behind a gas station. So I'm getting a waffle, some coffee and a soft drink. Great. I needed a break. So today's trip, 80 kilometers from Breanäs to Fulltofta rekreationsområde, which is a recreational area halfway between Hör and Hörby in Skåne. So it is in the absolute middle of Skåne. Was a very nice one. I spent, I think, an hour and a half looking at art at Vannås. And then I had lunch there as well, a very nice lunch. And I biked slowly over Linderödsåsen, and that was not very complicated. And I found this pop-up cafe that the shop had, and it was very nice roads all the way. I think there was a few kilometers on a larger road, but not very much traffic at all. So a great day. So tonight I'm having the final night out here. My sleeping pad delaminated a bit yesterday, so it's on its last steps, but it will function for tonight, I hope. It's warm, it's sunny, as you can see. There will perhaps be rain tonight, there will perhaps be a little bit rain tomorrow, not much. It will be an easy ride tomorrow as well, and then I know, of course, that at the end is my own shower and my own bed awaiting me. So this is the lake at the center of this recreational area, and there's a path leading around it. It's very small. You can walk around it in less than 10 minutes. But it's still very beautiful and serene here in this evening. And there's a stone on top of other stones out in the water. I like this place, even if it's full of people. Many people like this. There's fresh water. There is a regular dry toilet, but it's out of toilet paper, so I'm glad I brought my own. There are at least 4 groups of people, me included, that are staying overnight here. There might come more later on. Yeah. There's room for us all. You can see a tent up on the hill. That's the entrance where I got in. Good morning, everyone. It's 7:30. It's July 25th, I just woke up and I'm about to make breakfast. And then it's 70 kilometers into Malmö. So it's 9 o'clock. I'm ready to ride home through Eslöv and Lund. I just came to think about how much things I've broken on this trip, so let me see if I can recall it. So first I fell and I broke one of the panniers, managed to fix that with some gear I had with me, and it's still working on the same fix. I haven't had it repaired, no chance to that. Then my back tire blew out and I managed to fix it temporarily and ride 30 kilometers to get it fixed professionally, but I think I screwed up my gears a bit and I have to adjust them when I get home. Most of my clothes has got holes in them, so that's from when I fell as well. Oh, I can't find it. And that's no biggie. They still work. Even my rain jacket works with holes on the elbow. And then I set my everything handkerchief on fire and burned 2 big holes in it, so I have to replace that when I get home. And when I inflated my sleeping pad this night, a few baffles had broken and one more broke, so it's very round, and it was like sleeping on the ground with a very high pillow this time. That one I can't fix, but I have already ordered a new one of a slightly different make. So I can go out as soon as I want, because I still have a few days of vacation. So things break, but you can fix them as you go along. That's a great thing to know when you're getting out on a long trip. There is no chance you can avoid sun, there's no chance you can avoid rain, there's no chance you can avoid things breaking. And you have to deal with it. And that's part of the fun of being out on an adventure. Now it's time to fill up on water on the water tap over that direction. And then it's time to ride some bike. It's a great day for it. It will rain on me a little bit, but not much. So this is Eslöv, well-known, generically boring Swedish city. I had a second breakfast at a very generic espresso house, and I am now ready to go home again. It's about 40 kilometers left to go. This is part of Lund, and that's my lemonade. And here's the central square, and they are renovating the streets, so it's all quite messed up at the moment. This is otherwise nice square, lots of places to eat. There's a lot to say about London, a lot to see. If you're here, you should at least see the cathedral and the Museum of Sketches. I won't be showing them today. This is where I go to work, so no sightseeing in London. Anyway, 20 kilometers left to go until I'm home, and one lemonade to drink. So as I'm getting closer to Malmö, 7 kilometers away just, perhaps I should be thinking something profound and deep about the long journey and what it taught me, but I don't. I think about a shower, a cold beer, some crisps, unpacking my stuff, cleaning it, drying it, making it ready for the next adventure. It's July 25th, 2:30 in the afternoon, and I've just arrived home. I still have my bags on my bike. I still haven't been to my apartment. It's up there. It's time to get all stuff inside. Sooner or later it's time to start cleaning up and drying it. But first I'm gonna have a shower and hopefully a cold beer if there's any left in the fridge. I put some there before I left for this trip. This has been 25 days out. Any kind of weather except snow or very strong winds. 2,000 kilometers all in all. 11,000 meters elevation or gains all through the trip, and of course just as much downhill because I started and at the same spot. It has been a lot of great riding. I was tired of it when it was at its very hottest, but I never thought about giving up. I can highly recommend riding around Sweden on a bike. It's so much fun. You don't have to do this far if you don't want to, but you can, and you can do it further. And if you're more fit than I am, you can do longer days and longer trips. Do your own hike, but do it. You will enjoy it. Oh, I'm trying to think of something profound to say, and of course I can't. I want to have a shower. Thanks for following me.